Yeah, go fuck yourself, guy.
All right. Go fuck yourself. Week 2. Let's do week 2.
Is it recording?
It's recording. Yeah, it's recording. It's recording.
Week 2, what do we got, dude?
Steve's an idiot. What do we got? We got Thursday night. Bills at Dolphins, -2.5 to Miami. Diggity Dawson, give me your pick.
This is in Hard Rock Stadium, right?
It is.
Yeah. I don't know. We saw a Dolphins team that looked pretty sluggish in the first 2.5 quarters against the Jaguars early on. I think that they kind of unlocked the offense today. I think that the Bills, Josh Allen's not going to be able to do it himself again, especially, Khalil Shakir and the weapons didn't really, do all that much to help him out. So, yeah, I'm going to go with McDaniel and, that offense kind of just getting ramped back up into gear because, it's one of the best regular season offense I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is. One of the best early season off seasons. Steve, what do you think about that? What do you got, Steve?
I strongly disagree. We've seen the Bills every single year so far taking out Dolphins in week 2. It's a given. I got Josh Allen. Give me that spread all day, dude.
We got a fact check on that, dude?
All right.
I don't need that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the Bills kind of stomped the Dolphins last year, early week 2, but whatever.
It's all right.
Yeah, they did.
All right.
Stomp this out of them.
Yep. SW, what do we got?
All right, so I got the Buffalo Bills +2.5 because
what?
reportedly, Raheem Mostert has already been ruled out for the game, and Devon Achane is also going to be a game time decision. So without those two running backs, I think the offense will be a little bit, the rhythm will be a little bit unbalanced. So I think that Josh Allen is going to come out with his weapons in week 2, have a little bit better connection with them, and they're going to come out slinging it in prime time.
All right. Well, let me tell you why you're wrong, because it's all about scheme in Miami. Plug in any running back in the fucking league. Give me fucking Dolphins -10, 2.5. All right. Sunday slate.
Yeah, spit it out, retard.
Sunday slate. Nice mouth. Steelers at Broncos. -2.5 to the Pittsburgh Steelers after they stopped Kirk Cousins and that young offense over there last week. Dawson, what do we got?
So you mentioned, that young offense that they were talking about. You're talking about an even younger offense with the Denver Broncos. Although Bo Nix did play pretty well against the Seahawks, I think that Steelers defense, just like the Seahawks defense, is just as ferocious. Bo Nix has never seen a guy like TJ Watt ever, so that's going to be something he's going to have to deal with. I think that the Broncos kind of see ghosts a little bit, and it's going to be another, just gritty, ugly, just, steel mill type of game. And I think the Steelers cover 2.5.
Very well said. Love that. Steve.
Dude, they got George Pickens.
That's all they need. GP. Steve says Steelers. SW, what do we got?
Here you go.
All right, so I got this. I'm not going to make the mistake I made last week. They literally cost me everything. The Steelers, I'm going to take the Steelers -2.5. I don't think Bo Nix looked as good as Dawson was saying. He literally did not complete a pass past like 12 yards, it looked like. And
I didn't say he did.
Pretty poor pass
I didn't
rating.
say he played tremendous.
Not tremendous, but that's like what we saw on Sunday with Daniel Jones level almost.
Well, Daniel Jones is not. This is year 6 for Daniel Jones. You can't give him that, rookie. Rookie, whatever.
Well, I'm not saying Bonus doesn't have it in him, but I'm saying for early this season, I just don't think he has it in him. I think he might turn around in second season or maybe just later in the half of the season, but I'm going to take Steelers -2.5.
Yeah, we agree, but I would say that Seahawks defense, too, is just as good, if not better, than the Steelers defense. So, we'll say.
Bullshit. Yeah, whatever.
I said
Steelers,
if not.
Steelers -2.5.
I said if not. We all said
TJ Watt's going to shit his pants. Or Bo Nix is going to shit his pants when he sees TJ Watt.
The Seahawks,
and that's all it's going to happen. All right.
It's all their defense right there, folks. All right.
We all love the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously. Saints and Cowboys. Here we go. Saints and Cowboys. Cowboys getting 6.5. Dawson, what do we got?
So I think we saw not a fraudulent, but a little bit of a letdown from the Panthers this week, especially against the Saints. Is this going to be, are we going to see Alvin Kamara do what he did against the Panthers again? Probably not. Are we going to see this offense be as, in sync against the Cowboys defense, which is significantly better? I don't think we do. I think that Dak kind of finds his groove a little bit. I think that running game stabilizes a little bit, a little bit more against, not nearly as good as a defense as the Browns. I'm going to go Cowboys -6.5.
All right, SW, what do we got?
All right, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna take Cowboys -6.5. Like you said, the rhythm is off. Gonna be off going against a much better defense. And I think the Cowboys offense will actually come out a bit stronger because of just having it together week 2. CeeDee Lamb having his whole contract dispute in the offseason, wasn't at practice much. So having another weekend under the belt is going to make him a significantly better player.
All right, Steve, Cowboys, Saints. What we got?
I think the Saints are going to cover the spread. I saw it in the vision. Alvin Kamara is back. He's so back. That man's going to put up at least 2 touchdowns.
All right, there you go. There's a little prop bet from Steve.
There is a prop bet from Steve.
Yeah,
that is going into the weekly parlay. So
I've got Cowboys -6.5. I think this might actually be the year that they ascend a little bit and make a little bit of a playoff run this year. As much as that makes me want to puke, but Cowboys -6.5 at home. I mean, they went into Cleveland last week and fucking stomped the shit out of Cleveland.
Sean Watson not very good though.
Sean Watson probably stopped the shit out of that girl you sexually assaulted too.
Yeah. Raiders at Ravens. Ravens -9. Dawson, what do we got?
We're talking about a Ravens team that, was an Isaiah Likely big toe away from, possibly being the Chiefs week 1. I say they probably come out a little pissed off. And, the Raiders did not look nearly as good as I thought they were going to look. Gardner Minshew was a little shaky. I mean, that could just be, first game jitters with the Raiders. But, one thing that I saw that was pretty interesting about this Raiders defense was Max Crosby got clamped up by Joe Alt. Ronnie Stanley and, that Ravens offensive line is probably a little bit better than I'd say the Chargers. So, if they can take away Max Crosby, who, is a game wrecker for them, and if they neutralize him, there's really not much left on this Raiders defense that, kind of intimidates you. And, we all know how great this Raven offense can be, so I'm going to take the -9.
All right. SW?
I'm going to be taking the Ravens -8.5. I just think that, clearly, like Dawson said, they're going to come on with a chip on their shoulder. They're a much better team. I just think the Raiders, they don't have a good enough running game, and their defense is just besides their front half is just significantly weaker. So I think than the Chiefs. So I think that the Ravens roll past the Raiders.
Steve, Ravens, Raiders.
As much as I want to say it, because I love Max Crosby, I think the Ravens are probably going to go in there. I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game than we think. Because now you're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, Gardner Minshew, not the best quarterback. Well, we can all agree on that. But the Ravens have this tendency to play down when it's teams that they're not as competitive with. This might be one of those.
I like it.
All right.
Same, man.
Yeah, I've got Raiders +9. I don't feel very confidently at all about this Ravens defense going forward, and I think this is probably one of the defenses that the Raiders could maybe take advantage of, especially how weak they looked over the middle without Patrick Queen. But anyways, yeah, I got Raiders +9. Giants at Washington. Washington getting 1.5 points. Dawson likes Washington, doesn't he?
I'm not gonna pick the Commanders, obviously. Quick fact: Giants are 3-1-1 against the Commies last 5 games. I think a little bit better over the last 10. It's really the only team that I actually feel like we can beat on a regular basis. We have done it. Daniel Jones, gets a chance against a team that he has played very well against over his career to kind of,
least revive, get something out of this season. I mean, I'll tell you what. If Daniel Jones does the exact same thing that he did week 2, I'm going to be pulling a Timmy Lugauer, and we're going to be, calling for Tommy DeVito to be starting. Drew Lock doesn't, impress me at all after watching those preseason games that he played in. So yeah, I'm going to take the Giants plus 1.5. Maybe this defense, takes advantage of Jaden Daniels. The Giants would probably be the type of defense to let him, have 400 yards and 4 touchdowns to start his rookie year. But yeah, it's just going to be. I'm taking the Giants. I mean, you know how this goes.
All right, SW.
All right, Dawson. I'm just gonna tell you, you gotta stop betting with your heart because it's gonna be Commanders minus 1.5. We saw Jaden Daniels. We didn't see him good enough like passing the game. He did a lot of screen plays and stuff like that just to get him in a rhythm. But we saw an explosiveness out of the run game from him. And I just think that with his athleticism, I think the Giants defense won't be able to handle that. And I think they're going to be able to roll right by it because we saw a really, really, really weak Giants team. This is probably one of the weakest teams I've seen over the last 5 years. Easily, I think I could say.
Yeah.
On Commanders.
Yeah, I've got Washington too. I could give a rat's ass about Daniel Jones' numbers against Washington this year. That was absolutely pathetic last week. If I'm Dable and the first quarter and a half doesn't look good, Drew Lock's in the fucking game. But that probably won't happen. Give me Washington minus 1.5. Steve, Giants, Commanders.
Dude, Daniel Jones sucks.
Yeah, I was about to ask you a better question. Just tell me if Daniel Jones sucks.
Daniel Jones sucks, and I'm not a Giants fan by any means. However, I have a bit of love for that team since we're from the tri-state area, so you get what I'm saying. However, he's just so bad right now. I mean, I genuinely think that the Washington Commanders, my third least favorite team, are gonna stomp. They're gonna stomp. They're gonna be stomping all over them. Malik Neighbors is gonna need to be taken out by stretcher. It's disgusting.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can say to defend what Daniel did out there. I mean, there's nothing that I want to say, to defend Daniel and what he did out there. But here's the thing. If there's any team that he can, at least try to win a game against, I'm not saying, revive his, belief in Giants fans, I mean, if at the end of the day, we're definitely cutting him at the end of the season even if we win over 8 games, which obviously is a lot of it's a much lower step than it was, maybe a week ago. But you just, you gotta, take that $22 million dead cap hit instead of paying him $80 million for the next year. But that being said, I mean, the Giants could go 2-15 this year, and the 2 wins would be against the Commanders. I mean, that's just how it's been over the last couple of years. So, I mean, that's the last thing I got to say about that.
All right, yeah. Moving on before Dawson hurts himself. Chargers at Panthers. Chargers getting 6.5? 6.5? I can't read my.
I got 6.
6.
Yeah, I have 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the Chargers covering that. I will not be fooled by Carolina again until they show me otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, can we just do a round trip here? I mean, we're all taking Chargers, right?
I think we all got Chargers.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
That offense.
All right, yeah,
I think it's
more than exceeded expectations.
Yeah, let's not.
That Calvin Ridley 2-touchdown game. It's gonna be
Calvin
locked
Ridley.
down. I'm joking. Justin Herbert's gonna do a tap dance on their heads.
All right. Yep. Thank you, Steve.
I'm really on either team, Steve.
Yeah. All right.
Colts. Ridley?
That was a quick wrap around there. We're just gonna breeze right by that. Colts at Packers.
Yeah, we're done.
There you go. Wrap around. Colts at Packers. Colts getting 3 points. No Jordan Love, obviously. Dawson.
I'm absolutely not taking a chance on Malik Willis. I mean, obviously he has a great young core around him, but even then, I still am not trusting him to beat a Colts team that played pretty damn well against the Texans, who are one of the best, probably around one of the most complete teams in the NFL now with their free agent acquisitions.
Cool.
Quick little fun stat. Anthony Richardson had 9 completions over 19 attempts, under 45%, 45% completion percentage, I think, and had
Yeah, that would
26
actually, yeah.
fantasy points because he decided to throw 2, maybe 3 of the greatest balls and most impressive balls I think I've ever seen from an NFL quarterback off of his back foot, throwing it 65 yards down the field in the back of the end zone on a dot.
Dude, the guy's got elite ball handling anyway, you know?
He's pretty incredible. One of the we're talking about a guy that kind of looks like Cam Newton right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go Colts -3. I think it's pretty easy.
All right.
Now, hold on now there. Hold on.
Steve, what do you
You
got?
can't be throwing around that name Cam Newton willy-nilly, dude.
I said flashes. You gotta give me a break here, and you can't tell me it's not. I mean, he has incredible arm talent. I mean, you don't see that at all.
Everybody said
he
that.
knows ball, dude. I'm not going to argue with you. The guy knows ball.
All right, SW.
All right, I got Colts -3. I think that this is going to be a big game for Jonathan Taylor. We're going to see a big showing of what he used to be like about 2 years ago, and it's going to be a showcase for what he's going to do for the rest of the season. And it's going to open it up for Anthony Richardson to maybe just spread the ball out a little bit more and make those simpler throws and not trying to make all the big throws all the time. But I think that the big throws will be in this game, but we'll see what he has in store.
Yep. I've also got Colts -3. Can't really trust Malik Willis here, like Dawson was saying. And Anthony Richardson looks incredible as long as he doesn't snap his leg halfway through the game. Colts -3. Steve. Colts.
I still got Colts -3, but I think it's going to be maybe even closer than that. I mean, you got to think about the Packers still do have a pretty good run game, and that's proven effective over the past couple of years, especially last year. So, obviously, without Jordan Love, sitting at center console, they're at a very big disadvantage. But I still think that they have the ability to get some stuff done.
Yeah, sounds great. Couldn't have said it better myself. Niners at Vikings. -6 to the Niners. Doss, what do we got?
That Monday night 49ers looked pretty dominant. Against, a pretty highly regarded Jets defense. And, Hall of Fame quarterback and Aaron Rodgers. Pretty impressive win. But I'm going to take Vikings +6 here. I think this Vikings defense is a lot better than advertised. Obviously, people are going to say Daniel Jones is the worst QB ever. But I think that they played out of their minds on Sunday. Andrew Van Ginkel with the pick 6. That was very athletic play, even though, pretty bad throw by Daniel Jones. I think that the addition of Jonathan Greenard was big for them. In this Giants offensive line really didn't play that bad at all, and this Vikings defensive line still had 5 sacks. Some of them were Danny's fault. Some of them were just from, rookie Dallas Turner and Greenard, just being chaotic and dominant. So, yeah, I'm going to take Vikings +6. I think they catch them in a little bit of a hangover from that Jets win.
All right, SW.
I think it's going to be the actually complete opposite. I think the 49ers are going to be able to steamroll the Vikings. I think that the Vikings came off of a quite easy win, and they really got it very easy. So I think that they're going to be coming in a little lackluster. The offense looks strong, and there's a chance that Christian McCaffrey may play this week. And with the addition of Christian McCaffrey back, I think this offense becomes even more explosive than what we saw on Monday night.
Yep. Yeah, I've got Niners -6. I think if there's going to be a hungover team, it's going to be Minnesota coming off that big win in MetLife. I think the Niners are going to roll right past them, easily cover that -6. Steve.
I got Niners -6. Praying that CMC's back this week.
All right.
I miss seeing that white boy run.
There you go. Browns at Jags. Jags getting -3. Doss, what do you think?
I went with the Browns +3. I just think this defense is way too good, and I think that, who knows what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson over the next couple of days with his pending, legal cases and whatnot, if he even plays this week. that might heavily affect my decision. If Deshaun Watson plays, then I'm taking the Browns +3. I think that Trevor Lawrence is incredibly overrated. I think that aside from Brian Thomas, who played a really good first game in the NFL, the receiving core isn't very all that interesting. I mean, obviously Travis Etienne is a great running back. Has a little bit of trouble holding on to the ball sometimes, but yeah, I think. I mean, I don't really. I'm going to say Browns +3, and that's assuming that Deshaun Watson plays. But if he doesn't play, I'm definitely taking the Jaguars. But I'm going to book it down as a Browns +3.
All right, SW.
I'm going to be taking the Browns too. Even if Deshaun Watson doesn't play, which I think he will play, I don't think the case will really affect him this season currently. But I do think that the Browns defense is just such a strong defense. You got Denzel Ward, you got Myles Garrett, and it's just a very solid defense. And I think they're going to be able to just lock up the Brian Thomas and Gabe Davis and be able to get to
And
the
I totally forgot to mention that even if he doesn't play, they have probably the best backup quarterback in the NFL,
Yeah,
James
Jameis.
Winston. I mean,
Yeah, and Jameis.
oh yeah, I mean, and also I think Jameis he played really well during the preseason. So I mean, even if he does get the shot, that'd be awesome for him. I think they
Even
do
if you
well.
don't go to him, they have Dorian Thompson Robinson, and he's shown in the preseason looked pretty good too. So either way, I think that they are going to be able to win this game no matter what.
I've got Jags. I think they looked pretty well week 1. I mean, obviously struggled really late and kind of let that one get away from them. But I think if they get out to another lead like that, it's obviously going to be a lot easier to shut down the Browns offense than it will be week 1 Miami team in Miami. So I've got Jacksonville -3. Steve.
This is a tough one, but I personally think that Diddy reincarnate over there is Browns +3, dude.
All right, Browns +3.
That's all you got.
Anything else to say about that, man?
Diddy +3.
Dude,
Seattle.
I wouldn't even say Diddy, dude. Just the monster.
To monster. That's a good one. All right, Seahawks at New England.
Horrible
Seahawks getting 3.5 or giving 3.5. Doss.
So we talked about a possible hangover in the Niners Vikings game. I think if there's gonna be a hangover this week, I think it's definitely going to be the Patriots. I think that the Patriots caught a Bengals team with Joe Burrow coming back and the unrest in the receiver room, especially with Jamar Chase still looking for a new deal. He was asked by reporters after the game, like, do you think that your deal is getting in the way of you getting targets? And he goes, I don't know. Ask Zach Taylor. I mean, that's kind of weird to me. I think the Seahawks offense looked great. I think that Gino looked great. I think that 3.5's a little too short for this. I might even bump it up to -6. I think that the Seahawks defense, like I said before, probably one of the best young units in the NFL. Devin Witherspoon, Reek Woolen, probably, other than maybe the Jets, probably the best cornerback tandem in the NFL. So yeah, I'm gonna go Seahawks -3.5.
All right. SW. What do we got?
I also got Seahawks -3.5. Like Dawson said, I think they're come off a hangover week. Ramondre Stevenson did look very strong. Like, I can say that out of everything that we saw in that game, I think we saw that Ramondre Stevenson could be something this year. He could be a problem for a lot of
My
teams.
flex you're talking about?
Oh, but I do believe so. I'm taking Seahawks -3.5 still, even with the big week from Ramondre.
Yeah, I've also got Seattle -3.5 at New England. I do think New England is going to be a lot better than advertised this year. But also on the flip side of that, Cincinnati in the Burrow, Zach Taylor era has struggled incredibly in the first couple weeks of the season for whatever reason that may be. Multiple times Burrow coming back from an injury, so on. But I think New England just was right place, right time with that win. But they did look pretty good. But with that being said, Seattle -3.5. Steve, Seahawks, Pats in Foxborough.
All right, there's a very good chance that it's upset and in mass. However, I truly believe and have faith in this Pats team. I think that while the Seahawks do have a number of weapons, I think that the Pats can either cover the spread or possibly pull out a win. You know,
Yep. Oh, I know. I know.
I need
All right.
Pats plus 3, dude.
Okay. Well, I know. All right. Jets at Titans.
Oh
Jets.
yeah, go fuck yourself,
Jets.
guy.
Jets getting 3.5. Doss. Or giving 3.5. Keep on saying that. Doss. What do we got?
All right. So the New York Jets are coming off a pretty disappointing game. I will say Aaron Rodgers looked pretty damn good. Had a pretty, just unfortunate, tip interception that killed a drive. Brees Hall fumbled the ball that killed the drive. And you score both those drives, you probably chance to, win that game. It was only a 13-point game at the end of the day. Niners didn't really play all that great. That being said, the Titans, managed to give up a 17-point lead to Bears offense with a rookie QB. I mean, it's Caleb Williams that didn't score a touchdown. When you have your head coach saying, we might have been better off punting on 1st and 10 every drive, we might have won the game. That doesn't really, exude confidence about, Will Levis and this Titans offense that was up, 3 scores, midway through the game. I think the Jets gel a little bit better than they did against, one of the best defenses in the NFL in San Francisco. Garrett Wilson looked great. Brees Hall obviously, coughed up a fumble, but he'll definitely, shore things up. And, I'm going to go Jets minus 3.5.
All right. SW.
I'm gonna agree with Dawson. I think it's kind of crazy that the Lions only 3.5. Like he said, the Titans coming off a very crazy, giving up
brutal loss.
Brutal loss. And with Caleb Williams only passing for 93 yards, which is outstanding that a quarterback could win a game with only passing 93 yards. But little unsaid that the Jets, they're really good advertised, but they look a little bit weaker than what they have, with like Mike Williams not playing much, which I was a little shocked by, but I guess he was limited. But like we'll see.
Yeah, I think you look at Allen Lazard too, and they're basically maybe at this stage of their careers basically the same receiver. And you saw Lazard got targeted, and he got in the end zone a couple times last week.
Rodgers and him have that connection.
Yeah, they've had that connection. Yeah,
going back to Green Bay, so I just think that the Jets could even win this game by 10 points.
All right. I've got Jets minus 3.5. I think this is going to be I think you saw what the Bears defense did to Tennessee, and I think the Jets defense is even better. You could point at the number that San Francisco put up on Monday night, but the Jets did look pretty solid at the beginning of the game. Like the 49ers offense at the beginning of that game really didn't have an answer for it, but they got enough opportunities and eventually broke through, and then you start playing from behind, and it's a different ball game. But I've got Jets minus 3.5.
And just to put something in there real quick, the Jets also, the defense looked a little bit weaker in the second half of the game because Sauce Gardner got taken out after that collision he made with Deebo Samuel.
Was there any word as it was that? Because I think
he dislocated his shoulder.
Because they were trying to figure that out on WFAN, and they couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, they were.
If you watch the review, you can clearly see when he tried to get up that the shoulder was a little bit popped out, and that it looked like it hurt when he put pressure on the right shoulder.
In.
They popped it back in, but you have it's like hard to have full after that,
especially for a guy that can't really tackle to begin with.
Yeah,
I'll say suspect tackler as it is. You could noticeably see in the second half that he was possibly making some business decisions, on some tackles and whatnot, which, who knows who authorized that. Maybe that was just something he was doing. But, when you go out there with, a recently dislocated shoulder, it makes sense.
No full movement.
That's going to be something to monitor his health. Yeah.
Yep. All right, Steve. A-Rod versus Levis. What do we got?
A-Rod all day, brother.
A-Rod all day. It's an A-bomb from A-Rod. All right.
Dude,
Bucks.
Swear to God.
Bucks at Lions. Lions getting 7.5. Giving. Oh my goodness. Giving 7.5. Dawson.
So this line just tells me that Vegas really doesn't, respect Washington's defense at all, because I think 7.5 is a little long for this. You're looking at a rematch of that divisional game last year. I think Baker looked great in his first game. I think that offense is still, just the epitome of consistency. Mike Evans having how many 1,000 yards straight, seasons now. I don't think he stops. I think he still gets 1,000 yards this year again. I'm gonna go Buccaneers plus 7.5. I like their offense. Baker's got a little bit of Jim McMahon to him. I love Rashad White, and I'm gonna go Buccaneers plus 7.5.
All right, SW.
I also got Buccaneers plus 7.5. I'm a big Lions guy, but I do think that Baker looked very strong week 1, throwing 4 touchdown passes. But with that being said, I also think that they're going to open up the running game a little bit more with adding Bucky Irving and a little bit more of the plays. So I think he'll have a little bit bigger impact in this game, and you might see something out of him.
Yeah, and just to build off that real quick, I think tandem's the way to go in the NFL now. I mean, you look at how many of the last Super Bowl winners, how many of them really had a bell cow back? Not many of them. I think just to add on to what Ben said, Bucky Irving is going to be a pretty X-factor role in this offense moving forward, I think.
Yeah, all right. This line feels like a trap, so I'm going Lions. The Lions didn't necessarily, they certainly didn't blow out the Rams. Overtime win. I do think the Bucks looked really good week 1, but I think this Lions offense coming back. They were in Detroit last week. That wouldn't make any sense. Listen, we're going Lions minus 7.5. Just don't even stop questioning it.
Forget about it.
Just forget about it. All right? Lions minus 7.5. It's a trap bet. That's all. That's my reasoning. That's it. Steve.
Stop asking questions.
Yeah, Steve.
Sorry, I've been drinking. Hold on.
All right.
Hey y'all. Now this one is a very tough one for me because I do love both of these teams. However, it is a trap. I agree completely with Putt. So my pick is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs is sitting in that zone at least twice.
All right. Steve with another 2-touchdown prop bet. Love it. All right.
There we go.
All right. Rams at Cardinals. Cardinals getting 1. Did I write that down right? They're getting 1 point?
Yeah, the Cardinals are getting 1 point.
Or giving 1 point? Or giving? Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Doss. What do we got?
Yeah, it's when you look at this line, you're like, there's no way that I would take the Cardinals minus 1. But, with the recent news of Puka Nacua and his injury, losing a, 1,500-yard rookie, rookie of the year receiver, with Stafford getting a little bit older now. I don't feel like people aren't talking about that enough. I feel like he's getting a little bit older. I feel like he's not going to be as sharp. I think this Cardinals offense looked pretty damn good against a, pretty decent Bills defense. We've all seen the clip of Marv streaking down the sideline over a possible game-winning touchdown. Kyler doesn't hit him. I think Marv definitely doesn't have another 1-catch, 6-yard game again. He's way too talented to do that. I'm going to go with the Cardinals minus 1.
All right, SW.
I hate to do it, but I'm going to be taking the Rams plus 1.5.
Wow, dude.
It's because since the Sean McVay era, the Cardinals have just lost and lost and lost to them. And I just think the offense, even with missing Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp showed out. He had 21 targets, 14 catches, and people don't talk about him. He was he was a 2,000-yard receiver about 2 years ago. And with Kyron Williams being just what Kyron Williams does, just continue to show us what he continues to improve. And I think that the Rams kind of almost steamroll us. It's kind of bad to say, but I don't believe I'll have this.
Yeah, I don't really get this line at all. I'm huge on the Rams. Rams looked really good week 1 in Detroit. Puka aside, like Ben said, Kupp looked good. and Stafford has the ability to lift up receivers to another level. In my opinion, the most underrated quarterback in the last 25 years. So give me the Rams.
Can we get
Stafford-
an age check? Matthew Stafford.
Stafford, I think he's like 36 now, 37. He's getting old.
He's not old.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
like,
Rams or Cardinals, Steve?
I have Rams.
Yeah, Rams. You got.
Puka wasn't there in the back half of that game, and they still won. I think that says just enough about
Yep.
him.
What else do you need to hear?
You know,
Moving on to the game of the week. Thank you, Steve. Moving on to the game of the week.
Just real quick, Steve. They did not win last week.
Yeah, he didn't win, Steve.
Is
They
that
lost.
what you just said?
Yeah.
I guess
They still got the win.
Yeah, Steve, I was watching that game right next to you. Anyways,
uh,
moving on to the game of the week. Bengals at Chiefs. Chiefs minus
GG
5. Dos.
looks a little Mahomes there.
The only team that has, remotely come close to competing with the, Kermit the Frog and the Chiefs over the last couple of years has been the Bengals. I think that Joe Burrow has, that special something, kind of like, in the few times that Peyton beat Brady, in the playoffs. Obviously, we know what the deal was with, most of their playoff, playoff games. Obviously Brady, won the mass majority of them, but Peyton was the thorn in his side in the AFC for that longest time. And I think Joe Burrow will also be a thorn in Patrick Mahomes' side for at least a couple of these years. So yeah, I'm gonna go Bengals plus 5. I think that the Chiefs kind of get stunned a little early, and I think that this Bengals offense, gels to what they can be, which is a top 5 passing attack and an underrated run game with Zach Moss, who got the majority of the snaps in Week 1. So yeah, I'm gonna go Bengals plus 5.
All right, SW.
I can't believe you did it. We always say you can't bet against Kermit. I've done it a few times, and every time I lose.
You can't bet against Kermit unless
I just think that the Bengals look so weak. I think that they continue to look weak in Week 2, especially with T. Higgins still being questionable and Jamar Chase's contract still being up in the air. Reportedly, he has turned down an $140 million deal, and he was asking for $140 million and 1 cent earlier. So significantly, there makes no sense what's going on over in Cincinnati. So I'm definitely taking the Chiefs with all the drama that's going on there.
Yep. Thou shall not bet against Kermit the Frog. Give me Chiefs minus 5. This is a recipe for disaster for Cincinnati after last week, walking into so-called Burrowhead. Fuck them. Fuck the Bengals. All right, Steve. Bungles, Chiefs.
Both of those teams, but I have to. If I want to make money, it's got to be the Chiefs here.
All right, thou shall
Simple
not.
fact, dude.
All
Pretty
right.
I
cool
know
tidbit.
better.
James Paxton's retiring.
Good for
James
him.
Paxton
Good
retired?
for him.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah,
what a career.
Red Sox royalty.
Hey,
right there.
baseball season is over. It's
Yeah,
football season.
shut up. We're not arguing over this right
That's
now.
crazy. All right, go.
Bears at Texans. Texans giving 6. Doss.
I'm going to go Texans minus 6. I think that we see a similar type of struggle that, Caleb Williams had in his Week 1 game against the Titans defense, which I think the Bears defense is a lot more talented than the Titans defense. I think Jalen Johnson's possibly the best corner in the NFL, if not the most underrated corner in the NFL. I think CJ Stroud is just, another one of those thorns in Patty's side. I think I fucked up my point there, but besides the point, I'm going to take Texans minus 6 only because, I just think we see a really, really fucked up game just by Caleb Williams again. And I meant to say the Texans defense, not the Bears defense. Derek Stingley obviously being the corner that I was trying to mention. But yeah, I'm going to go Texans minus 6.
All right, SW.
I'm going to be taking also the Texans minus 6. I think that this offense is just way too explosive. I think they're going to be able to just steamroll the Bears. We saw 30 carries out of Joe Mixon, which is just unbelievable. We saw about we saw all the receivers being able to get the touches, and I think that this team's going to roll over them.
I've got Bears. I think Caleb's gonna bounce back week 2. You know, he's got his week 1. I mean, you saw the stat. His first number 1 overall pick to win week 1 in however many long years. Give me Bears with that defense. I think Houston gets shocked a bit at home here, and at least Chicago covers. Steve, you bearing down?
No, dude, absolutely not. Texans.
Texans. All right.
I think it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people think, though.
All
And I
right.
know I've used that line about 3 or 4 different times, but like it's true, you know.
Yep. Never
Just
been
watch.
never been a truer statement. All right, well, that was Sunday Night Football. Let's do Monday Night Football and wrap this up. Falcons at
We
Eagles,
gotta go make
who
that.
are giving 6.5. Dawson, look
Dude,
alive.
I totally fucked up that. I don't know what I was going on about for that last pick, but let me not fuck that up again.
All right.
I'm gonna go Eagles minus 6.5. That game in Brazil was obviously not the best product of football. It was incredibly entertaining, but with the field being all fucked up and whatnot, and just playing in a different country, obviously it's just different for these guys. But that being said, this Eagles offense looks unstoppable. As much as I hate to say it, Saquon Barkley looks unstoppable in that offense. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are, a top 5 duo in the NFL. That offensive line is going to stay great if Lane Johnson's on, no matter what, even if, Jason Kelsey is not there anymore. You have about 3 or 4 Pro Bowlers on that offensive line right now still. And I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think that the Falcons, gel a little bit better than they did against the Steelers, obviously. I think Kirk last year, for example, had over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against that, same Eagles team basically with the Vikings, but still couldn't get it done. So yeah, I'm going to say that, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, put up probably at least 40 points and probably win about 40-32. So I'm going to take 6.5.
All right, SW.
All right, I'm going to be taking also the Eagles minus 6.5. I think that this offense, like Dawson said, is just way too good, and just what we saw out of Atlanta was just horrible. I couldn't believe that they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers without giving up a single touchdown. They lost.
What do you mean you couldn't believe
Yeah,
that? Dude?
what do you mean you
couldn't
couldn't believe
believe
that?
What do you mean,
I
dude?
couldn't believe it.
You couldn't believe that a quarterback in a new system couldn't beat
couldn't-
one of the best defenses in football. You couldn't believe that?
Is that what you're saying?
No,
dude?
no. I thought Kirk Cousins, with the addition of Kirk Cousins, we were going to finally see the true explosiveness, what we've been told that this offense has from what they've been drafting from Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan, and just didn't see what we were all hoping for. So
Yeah,
I hope
well,
this,
Yeah, well,
I hope maybe
not when
better
T.J.
of it.
Watt's breathing down his fucking neck.
still taking Eagles minus 6.5.
All right.
Let me ask you this though. Who do you think was the happiest rookie QB after week 1?
Jaden Daniels.
I think it was Michael Penix.
Yeah.
I think Michael Penix saw that this starting QB job, at least maybe next year or the year after that. But I mean, I don't think Kirk's playing out this whole 4 years. I mean, again, you're talking about a guy who's coming off an Achilles, which, unless you're Aaron Rodgers at his age, is basically a death wish. Yeah, I mean, I think this kind of just slightly creaks the door open for Michael Penix. Maybe, instead of we'll see him in 3 years, we'll see him in 2.5 now. You know what I mean?
I think they're going to let Kirk Cousins play 3 years into this contract. I think that they're paid him way too much to not let him do that. I think Michael Penix is going to be more of in a situation like we saw out of Jimmy Garoppolo, getting his chance maybe in another city, but maybe just later in his career. I think that we'll see him in the 4th year of Kirk's deal if he's playing as a Falcon, if they don't get rid of him sooner.
Yeah, I think they're gonna get rid of Kirk. Anyways, give me Kirk plus 6.5. I think this is a much easier matchup for Atlanta. Kirk Cousins isn't gonna have T.J. Watt breathing down his neck every other play. I mean, T.J. Watt was a man on he was the man in the box, as Steve would say.
But he will
He
have
was-
the entire 2020 Georgia defense.
Yeah,
Down.
yeah, essentially. Give me Falcons plus 6.5. I think the Birds look weak as shit this year. Steve, Eagles or Falcons?
What are you on about, dude?
I'm waiting for you to give me I'm waiting for you to tell me
Dude, it's
if
your
the
turn,
Eagles or Falcons are going to win
telling
this
you.
football game.
Go Birds. If they're winning this game, winning every game, they're probably going back to the Super Bowl.
All
I'm
right.
just kidding.
There's your hot
Well, you
take.
know.
And
No, I'm just joking.
yep. All right. That's it for week 2. Yeah. Smell you.
Sweet, dude.
Smell you later. Smell you next week. Goodbye.